Hey, welcome to Royal Outdoor Experience. We're going to have a great episode today. I just like to take this time quickly to recognize our sponsors: Strike King, Luz, Mossy Oak, Crappie Magnets, Baronet Blinds, Grizzly Sunglasses, Foot on the Head Calls, River Edge Stands, and of course, Missouri Hunting Fishing Adventures, Scent Thief, and I'm telling you, we are excited to work with all these sponsors. Well, welcome everyone. We are excited here at Royal Outdoor Experience to have Jacob Carpenter here today. And Jacob is from Scent Thief. We've been with Scent Thief for a long time. I can remember the first time that Scent Thief was actually introduced to me was down at the World Deer Expo in Birmingham, Alabama. And I believe I was going up the escalator, and a gentleman named Russell started talking to me and said, "Are you all from Missouri?" And I said, "Yeah, where are you from?" He said, "Well, we're from Butler, Missouri." And I was like, "Really?" And so we struck up that conversation and got to know each other. And I mean, of course, I wanted to know what he was doing and what products he was working with there. And man, it's been a great alignment for us as a partner for a long time. And I'm going to get into some of the stories that I used uh, after using the product here later on. But anytime we endorse a product, we want to make sure that it works well, and that's what I did after he gave me a bottle. But Jacob, tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about where you are within the company, and maybe just a little bit of history of what's going on in the company.
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, thank you for having me on. We love opportunities like this, and we love getting a chance to talk with some good friends of ours. But yeah, this is my first year working with Scent Thief. My dad bought the company about 4 years ago, and we've been working with Russell really close. So we've done some rebranding probably since he met you on that escalator. It was, uh, we had the white bottle with the thief holding the sack over his back. So we've done some rebranding since then. But no, my background was actually in sports, and I know that Matt played basketball at Ozark College, so there's a lot of us in this room that have an athletic background. But I was a teacher in Kansas City for the past 3 years, and then have been involved in hunting, but never really had the chance to dive into it. And Scent Thief has been growing so much that we finally had an opportunity to take me on. So right now I help with all their social media stuff and work with the marketing team, and we're just focused on really growing the brand and growing the product right now, and it's been great. We've been very blessed with good people that have helped us grow over the past couple of years.
For those that are listening and are kind of new to the product, um, Scent Thief is it's not really a cover scent; it's a scent eliminator, is what it is, and it's something that we utilize as guides and as an outfitter. Tell us a little bit how Russell came about developing this product without giving the covert information of what the secret ingredients are. But
Right.
I,
Yeah,
I
I got to be careful
or his
about that.
dad. Go ahead. Kind of tell us how Russell started with this.
Yeah, so Russell does a great job telling the story, obviously, but Russell grew up around trapping, and that's kind of how he discovered this. Was when he was growing up, he was trying to find the most efficient way to trap a coyote or trap a predator. And so he spent hours in the library studying the ears, nose, and throat, trying to find the best combination of I guess it ended up being essential oils basically, to numb the animal's nose. And so how he discovered that he had something was he trapped a coyote, and he tagged it, and for 5 separate nights he used the same trap at 5 different locations, and he ended up catching that same coyote 5 different nights on 5 different sets. And so when he did that, he thought to himself, "Oh man, I might have something here," because anybody that's a trapper knows that that's pretty hard to do, to catch that same coyote on 5 different locations using the same trap. So,
Giving me some details of the trapping situation, because I knew that he used it for trapping, but I didn't know to that extent. He never told me his trial and error, on that. So yeah, that's interesting.
yeah,
But go.
so it ended up being about 20 years of research and development. And I don't know exactly when that story happened along this journey, but obviously that was the start of Scent Thief. And so ever since then, he's been trying to build it up and trying to get the word out. And truly, when people use it and they see how it works and what it does, that's when they're hooked and they realize that there's something to this product. But back to your point about it being a cover scent, there's other products that use an enzyme or a very strong smelling odor to try to overpower a deer's nose, or use ozone to try to break up those odor molecules. And what's really unique about Scent Thief is that it doesn't do any of that. We're really the first product that's ever been introduced to the market that numbs the epithelial nerve in your nose, responsible for transmitting smells back and forth. So there's no other product that works the way that it does, because once it enters your nose and it numbs that olfactory epithelial nerve, your brain can't transmit multiple odors at the same time. So once Scent Thief in your nose, that's the only thing that you're going to get.
Yeah, you're so right on the difference in the product. The over the years of working with the product and talking to people and Russell and etc., isn't there some more stories on that Scent Thief about that they actually had to develop an odor to it because of the drug dogs were not actually able to pick it up and they were moving drugs with it? Is that a true story? I mean, I heard that, and I can't tell you where I heard that, but I somewhere that came through. Maybe I made that up. I don't know.
No, you didn't make it up. That's a true story. That's actually one of my favorite stories about Scent Thief and kind of the development and getting its name out. And we use that story a lot because, there's a lot of people in the hunting industry that perk up when you mention the Department of Justice or anything government related. And we think that it was probably due to a university study. So Russell had sent Scent Thief in its original form off to a couple of universities to have it studied. And we think that that's how the Department of Justice was alerted to it.
Okay.
But basically, the Department of Justice, I think it was in 2013, came and knocked on Russell's door in Butler, Missouri, and confiscated all of his research, all of his findings, and any product that he made. And they didn't get back to him for a year. So they kind of left him out to dry for a whole year, and he had no idea what was going on. And so finally, a year later, they came back to him and said that he cannot sell Scent Thief in its original form because K9 units could not recognize anything when they were in the presence of the original Scent Thief formula.
Wow.
So they said in order for him to sell it without it being a federal offense, he has to put some kind of recognizable odor into the formula. And truth be told, that really helped out Scent Thief in the long run, because that recognizable smell that we put into Scent Thief is what you smell and what you associate with Scent Thief when you smell it. And so we found that it actually relaxes the animals when in the wild, when they get it in their nose, it kind of puts them in a relaxed state and they really don't know that anything's going on. So in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, it really helped us out that they did that. But there for a while, Russell he didn't know what was going on.
And another story I heard, I'm glad you gave some credibility to that, because I've heard that a few different times. But I also heard that it was also applied to a mare to keep from the stud to actually find out that she was in season. Is that something too that was applied to and applicable to the product?
Yes. So I haven't heard that story, but it can be used for that. Yes. The one thing that's really interesting to me, and we don't get a chance to talk about this a lot, so I'm glad that you brought that up. But my wife is from Dodge City, and if you've ever been out to Dodge City or out in the Western Kansas area, it is cattle farms as far as you can see. And one problem that they have is if and I'm going to get the names wrong. I'm not a big cattle farmer, but if a baby loses her mom, and they have to pair the baby up with a new heifer, I guess is the name. I could be wrong. I'm going to embarrass myself calling them the wrong thing, but
you're good.
Normally it's a pretty gruesome process to try to pair a baby up with a new mama. And I don't know the details of that, but they can spray a mom down with Scent Thief or the baby down with Scent Thief, and the mom can't recognize that it's not hers. So she'll take it on, and they don't have to go through that grueling process of trying to pair the baby up with a new mom. If they spray the baby down with Scent Thief, the mom can't recognize the baby, and so she'll take it on like it's her own. And so
that's another great testimony. Just the fact that you're fooling a creature's nose there. I mean, that's That's interesting. And then, of course, then I guess the final story that I'd heard is that it's also something that morticians are using. Is that something too that can be used for the product?
Yes. So it's obviously it's a lot more effective for animals just because their sense of smell is so much stronger than ours, but it works the same on humans as it does animals. And so um, here before too long, we're going to break into using it in households and corners and first responders. It's already really big in funeral homes and corners, and it's the most effective thing that they've used. I think normally what they take are or orange peels or some kind of orange essential oil base.
Uh-huh.
It definitely helps, but the responses that we've got from coroners and first responders when they use scent thief I mean, it's night and day compared to anything else that they use.
Well, I'm going to give you another product idea here. Is that our company owns a car lot, and we've used it in some of our cars that have been detailed that had smokers in it, and
Mm-hmm.
spray the floor down in that carpet with scent thief. I mean, it masks the scent of that smoke immediately,
Yeah,
and that's something else that we've used the product for over the years.
yeah, absolutely. It's an incredible product, and right now we're kind of like that stick that's trying to poke through the trash bag. We're right there, almost breaking through, but there's all these applications for the product outside of hunting, and we're really trying to focus on the hunting side of it. But like you said, there's a gentleman that goes to the gym that I go to that he works in the rental car industry,
Uh-huh.
and he said that using our wafer in a new car in a rental car is, it's a
Oh,
lifesaver for him because on the Missouri side, when they rent a car, some of the cars that they get back just reek of the smoke smell.
sure.
So they can take scent thief, like you said, and spray it on the cloth seats or the cloth floor, or pop a
Very,
wafer underneath the seat,
very,
and it's good to go. So yeah, there's
very.
a lot of really really cool and interesting applications for scent thief that
Well,
are
I
outside.
want
So
to way off that concept because I want to take our listeners primarily into the hunting world now because I think we've proven the credibility behind the product, and I believe that they'll understand now that whenever you have you know the government trying to figure out what kind of product you have because you're shutting down the Federal Drug Administration, I think that's a pretty good credibility for your product. But I want
yeah,
to get more now the hunting because we're moving into the rut here in Missouri, and we're getting into where we're really going to be spending a lot of time in the tree stand and in the hunting blinds, etc. We kick off heavily here at the end of the month with all of our clients. Our clients, our return clients, are very, very familiar with our suggestion, and I'm gonna tell you kind of what our suggestion is because we try to be we don't want to be legalistic about what we do in camp, but the way I do this is we have an intro to all of our hunters. I always tell them that scent control is going to be important for success, and you are good hunters. You understand scent control. You have your method of doing that, and I won't take that creativity away unless you continue to get busted. And if you get busted, or for people that don't understand that term, getting you're they're sending you. Okay, they're smelling you. They're going to be leaving that area because of your scent. I have to do something to keep from educating my deer. And so if you're getting busted and you tell me that you're getting busted, or I start hearing that you're not seeing deer, we're going to scent thief, and you're going to start applying scent thief. And I've done that now for 5 years solid. Our harvest rates have gone up. Our number of sightings have gone up. Our close encounters have gone way up with good mature deer. Doesn't always end into a harvest. There's other skill sets involved there, but the mature deer, and one of the short stories that I'll tell you that I think it's almost comical is I had a gentleman in camp, and I was putting him in some really hot holes. I mean, they were on white oaks, and I was putting him in some white oak holes, and he'd continually come back and just just wasn't seeing deer, wasn't seeing the quality of the deer. And usually as a guide, I got enough experience there to either go, okay, he's either getting busted or he's sleeping, one of the two or both. And, or he's just, moving around up there way too much, getting busted. Okay. So this gentleman here, he, he really wasn't that type of a person. I thought he was a good hunter. I think he had a good skill set. He had good experience. I knew his background and everything, but he wasn't seeing those mature deer. And so I just told him, I said, Perry, I said, I really would like you to try Scent Thief. And so, he really didn't care one way or the other, because I guess in his mind, they're all about the same. And so I sprayed him down really good that morning, and he was tagged out by 10 o'clock that morning, and had him a nice 4-year-old deer that was in the upper 140s, and he really, really, had a nice hunt, was seeing a lot of deer. Okay. And so we were back in the skinning shed, and I never said anything about it, but I mean, it was all over my mind, and I never thought, to say anything until we got into a conversation about how many deer he saw, and then how this hunt developed. But the thing that I brought up to him at the very end of our conversation, after I said, congratulations, that's a nice deer, I said, have you ever thought about what kind of scent eliminator that you were wearing that day? And he just, I mean, it was like the dawning, and he goes, man, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right, dude. You put me on that stuff, didn't you? I said, yeah. I said, I guarantee that made the difference today. And, with some of my clients, I don't think they realize how many times a 5-year-old deer will go downwind on them and they never see them.
Oh
And
yeah.
they've been busted and they've already eased out of there. And they always say, that's the sixth sense. Well, that's that sixth sense, is when they smell something that's just not quite right, and they
Yeah.
get nervous and they just don't come that direction. They may turn and go, 100 yards out and around that scent, that smell they have. And that's just enough for you not even to see them. And of course, where we hunt, we're in Ozark Mountains a lot. We have a lot of thermals that come up from down below. And so those thermals could be lifting and go right into a mature deer's nose, and they never see them.
Oh
And
yeah.
so that was just a one situation there that I think about, and I share that with my hunters. But what I want you to do, Jacob, tell us how to apply this product, and then tell us how long it lasts and how often they should apply it, and what if they're in rain or in heavy dew and all those things.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's an incredible story. And we get a lot of people that have similar, similar interactions like that. They use Scent Thief for the first time and they see stuff that they normally couldn't get away with. And you're exactly right with that mature deer walking behind you, downwind of you. I mean, that's their biggest defense mechanism. And you're crazy if you think that they don't know how to use it. And so they're going to play that wind and they're going to go where the wind's blowing. And it doesn't matter what you use. There's products out there that definitely will help. I mean, we're there. That's a fact. There's products that will help you. But in our experience, like you said, there's nothing that's worked quite like Scent Thief has. So as far as application goes, Scent Thief works through the evaporation process of our product. We are essential oil based and water based. So there's no harsh chemicals. There's nothing that's harmful in our product. There's nothing that's going to eat in anything. So in order for Scent Thief to work, it has to be present, and you want those vapors to constantly be getting into the air. So when I apply Scent Thief, I'll start by washing my clothes in our laundry detergent. I'll take a shower in our shampoo and body wash, and that's really just extra insurance. You really, because of how our product works, if you don't have those two things, you're going to be fine. But because I have the laundry detergent and the body wash, I'm going to prepare and use those things before I go out. As I get ready and I get dressed, I'm going to spray down head to toe and make sure that any part of my clothing that can wick Scent Thief is going to be covered in it. As I head out to my stand, if I drive out to a field and then I'm walking from my truck to my tree, Just for good practice, I like to turn it to the stream setting and spray every, 20, 30 feet or so, just to kind of cover my walking trail. And then as I get to my stand, we have a great wafer product that contains a heavier oil base of our Scent Thief formula. And it doesn't evaporate quite as quickly. So what we do there is I'll hang it, downwind of me. If I'm in a tree stand, I'll hang it above my head. If I'm in a blind or a ground blind, I'll just hang it, outside of my blind downwind of me. And all that does is it helps if the wind starts to swirl or change direction. Those heavier oils are going to settle down around that wafer and where you're sitting. And so as the wind swirls, it's just going to help you stay covered, and it's going to get more Scent Thief out into the area. But then as I
one of the things that I did before the wafers were around is that, I set in box blinds a lot of times with clients and especially crossbow, I'll be in pop-up blinds. I used to just spray the living daylights on the outside of the blind too. I mean, is that a good idea to do that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing about Scent Thief is you can't use enough of it. There is a point to where you might not be using enough of it. We get a lot of people that call us wondering why it didn't work a certain way, and every single time without failure, they spray down before they walk in, and then they don't take it to the stand with them. And I would say that if there's any negative about Scent Thief, that's probably what it is that you do have to take it with you and reapply. But when people see the results, like you were talking about with that gentleman, Perry, that went on the hunt, when they see the results, taking it into the stand with you and reapplying, that's not a huge deal to a lot of hunters. So